You open your eyes. It's dark, it's cold, and everything you have ever known, your phone, your bed, your entire world, does not exist, and it never will. This is 20,000 years ago. The planet looks almost nothing like the one you know. A wall of ice 2 miles thick covers most of northern Europe and North America. Sea levels are over 400 feet lower than they are today. Land that is now underwater, you can walk across it. Where the English Channel sits today, there is dry ground. Where the Bering Sea flows, there is a wide grassy plain stretching between Russia and Alaska. And animals, enormous ones, graze across it freely. This is the last glacial maximum, the coldest, harshest period our species has ever survived. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, you are born. No hospital, no name recorded anywhere, no country to belong to, just a small group of people, a fire that must never go out, and the world so vast and so wild it makes your chest tight just to look at it. But here's the thing nobody tells you about this moment in history. This life is not what you imagine, and the people living it are not who you think they are. You wake before sunrise. The air inside your shelter is cold, but survivable, because your shelter is not a cave. Evidence uncovered in Ukraine and southern Russia shows that Ice Age people built structured dwellings from mammoth bones and thick animal hides, engineered to trap heat and resist wind. Some of these structures held multiple families. Some show evidence of being rebuilt in the same location season after season. These weren't desperate makeshift camps. They were homes, intentional, familiar. Outside, the world is enormous and almost completely empty. Scientists estimate the entire human population of Earth at this moment is somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million people, the whole species, spread across the planet. To put that in perspective, more people will walk through a single large train station today than existed on the entire planet the day you were born. By mid-morning, the group has already divided, not by command, but by knowledge. The older adults know things. They have seen seasons fail and animals disappear. Their memory is the group's survival manual. You eat well this morning. Isotope analysis of Ice Age human bones, a method that chemically reveals what ancient people ate, shows a diet heavy in animal protein and fat. Reindeer, bison, mammoth, horse, fish near coastlines. The food is dense, efficient, and real, but finding it is never guaranteed. Which brings us to the most dangerous part of your day. The hunt is not one person against one animal. It never was. Archaeological evidence, including spear points found lodged inside mammoth and bison bones at precise penetrating angles, tells us that Paleolithic hunting was coordinated, strategic, and deeply rehearsed. Hunters used natural terrain. They read animal behavior. They drove herds toward rivers, cliffs, or narrow passes. And their weapons were more sophisticated than most people realize. The atlatl, a spear-throwing device that functions like an extension of the human arm, could launch a dart with enough force to bring down an animal 10 times your size. Specimens have been found across Europe, carved from reindeer antler, some decorated with animals, as if the weapon itself needed to understand what it was hunting. The hunt is successful today, and tonight, everyone eats. Back at camp, nothing is wasted. Every part of the animal serves a purpose. Meat for food, bones for tools and structure, hide for clothing and shelter, sinew for binding, fat for lamps. The efficiency is remarkable. Scientists studying Paleolithic campsites consistently find evidence of complete carcass processing. These people understood their resources at a deep, practiced level. The tools you use are not primitive. Flint blades from this era, examined under microscopes, show fine pressure flaking techniques that require hundreds of hours of practice to master. Needles carved from bone, thin enough, sharp enough to sew fitted clothing, have been found across Europe and Asia. Fitted clothing, not just wrapped hides, sewn, tailored garments designed for the cold. You are not surviving by accident. You are surviving by skill. Your group is probably between 20 and 50 people, and these are not strangers. You have known every single face your entire life. Evidence suggests that Paleolithic bands maintained networks with neighboring groups, trading tools, sharing information about animal movements, and intermarrying to prevent isolation. Genetic studies of ancient human remains confirm this. Ice Age people were mobile and connected across larger social webs than we used to believe. The oldest person in your group might be in their 50s. To you, they are extraordinary. They carry knowledge no one else has, and when they speak at night, everyone listens. The fire is not just warmth, it is a boundary. Beyond it, the Ice Age world belongs to animals that would terrify you to see in person. Cave lions, larger than any lion alive today. Cave bears, weighing over 1,000 pounds. Wolves hunting in coordinated packs across open ground. And woolly mammoths, not just the gentle giants of nature documentaries, but massive, unpredictable animals capable of crushing a human in seconds if cornered. Scientists have found human bones from this era with trauma marks, healed fractures, injuries survived over months. These people were not untouched by the danger around them, but they lived through it and kept going. And here is where the story shifts, because survival is only half of what's happening inside your ancient life. 40,000 years ago, something changed in human behavior, and by the time you're alive, it has become extraordinary. The cave paintings at Lascaux, Altamira, and Chauvet were created by people whose brains were biologically identical to yours. Using ochre, charcoal, and bone-fat lamps that cast flickering light, they painted horses, lions, and bison with such movement and accuracy that when modern artists first saw them, some refused to believe ancient humans had made them, but they did, and they kept coming back to these places, sometimes across generations, layering images on top of images, as if these sites held something sacred that couldn't be abandoned. Bone flutes from this exact era, tuned instruments found in Germany, could play recognizable scales. Music wasn't invented later, music was here. And then there are the burials. At Sungir in Russia, archaeologists uncovered two children buried side by side, their clothing decorated with more than 10,000 individually carved mammoth ivory beads. Scientists calculated it would have taken tens of thousands of hours to create them. Someone made those beads. Someone placed them carefully around children who had died. That is grief. That is love. That is meaning. Evidence suggests these people had ritual, belief, story, a full interior life happening beneath the physical struggle to survive. Your ancient self is not primitive. They are fully, completely human. You've never seen a sky like this in your modern life. Nobody alive today has. The fire is low. The group is sleeping. And you are sitting at the edge of everything that will eventually become the world you know. Cities, language, science, music, medicine, love letters, space telescopes. None of it exists yet, and all of it begins here, with people who followed herds across frozen plains and found time to paint them on walls, who buried their dead with care and carved music from bone, who looked up at this exact same sky and felt, just as you do now, something larger than themselves pressing in from the dark. 20,000 years of change separate you from that person sitting by the fire, but the questions they carried, who are we? What is this world? Does any of it matter? Those never changed. You inherited everything from them. Your creativity, your grief, your hunger to understand. The part of you that looks at something beautiful and has to stop. They were not the beginning of humanity. They were humanity. Fully formed, fully feeling, looking up at the same stars. And somewhere, 20,000 years later, so are you.